What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Casa D18 Studios channel. You could be anywhere in the world right now, and you're here with me, and we greatly appreciate that. And it's time, once again, to step into the war zone. That's right, it's time for another edition of the Weekly Acquisition Report, the show where I, the Renegade, show you, the viewers, the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for coming back once again and stepping into the War Zone, the Weekly Acquisition Report, the show where I, the Renegade, show you, the viewers, the latest additions to my ever-growing movie library. And today we are done, finally, with the 50-cent Dollar Tree hauls. We've been doing that for probably the last month and a half at this point. As I've told you multiple times, Dollar Tree movies are back to regular price. There will be some more Dollar Tree movies coming up here in the not so distant future, and those will be regular price movies, but we just had to get through all the 50-cent stuff. Now, those of you that are paid members of my channel here, and you've subscribed to the members only content, the exclusive new wrestling content that I've been putting out for the Casa D18 Studios channel, you guys have already seen an episode of what has been called the Wrestling War Zone, where I show off the latest wrestling DVDs in my library. And while it isn't a weekly thing, obviously, because you don't find wrestling DVDs out in the wild as much as you do regular movies, it's still wanting to keep with the War Zone theme here and, kind of the wrestling acquisition report, if you will. But those of you, like I said, that are paid members of the site, the episode that has gone up, you saw me talk about a website and app called Whatnot. And I discovered this app from Jeff at the Films at Home blog, a YouTube channel that I follow, another guy that does movie content, reviews, hauls. He does shorts. He does all kinds of stuff on his channel, but it's all movie related. Anyways, I saw he was discussing this app called Whatnot one day, and he gave people that subscribed to the app through him a free $15 credit. All you had to do was then pay for shipping on the stuff that you bought. So there's some stuff in that Wrestling War Zone episode that I got from Whatnot. And then there's this box right here. That's all movies that I got from Whatnot. All the same seller, all about $1 a pop. So I think there's 9 movies here. So $9 plus shipping. And then the wrestling content, was $1 or $2 a movie plus shipping. I think I maybe spent grand total of about $11 just paying for the shipping off of the $15 worth of free movies I ended up getting because of my code. Let's get into what we got right here, though, shall we? You're going to notice quite the theme here in the Whatnot box, and there's a reason why I made sure that this was done before the month ended, because there's a lot of John Wayne stuff in here. Y'all know I've been doing John Wayne movies all month. There's movies in here that I've reviewed. There's one John Wayne movie in here that I have not reviewed because it just didn't fit in with the Westerns motif. But I know it's one that we're going to get to at some point, whether we do another month of John Wayne and do some of the non-Westerns, do some of his military movies or whatnot, or whether we throw them in when we do like our Turner Classic Movies month. But I'd say 7 of the 9 here are John Wayne movies. And then there's 2 others. So let's get to the others first. That way, if you don't want to see all the John Wayne stuff, you can stop it after this. First one I got was directly intended to do for Turner Classic Movies Month whenever we get to that. And that's Elizabeth Taylor and Cleopatra. Double disc set. One of Liz Taylor's defining roles, Cleopatra. And I've never seen it. I've always wanted to. And I definitely think that that's the way we're going to work this in, is by doing it during the Turner Classic Movies Month. because it's iconic. The other one is for when I do movies that star musicians again, as it is Ringo Starr from the Beatles in Caveman, alongside the woman who would become his wife, Barbara Bach, Dennis Quaid, and Shelley Long. I've seen this before. It's very nonsensical, very silly. It's everything you would expect from Ringo, as he was always kind of the goofy one of the Beatles. But I had to add that to my collection as a Beatles fan, as a movie aficionado, because I didn't own it yet. So that definitely had to make my collection. Now, we're going to get into the John Wayne stuff. And the one that I did not get to this month, or I will not get to in the course of the next week, is The Quiet Man. John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. This is definitely an iconic John Wayne film. It's one of the ones a lot of people think of when you say John Wayne because of his collaboration alongside Maureen O'Hara. Maureen O'Hara, of course, I know best for Miracle on 34th Street, little Natalie Wood's mom in the movie. We talked about her over the course of this month. She's done a couple other movies with John Wayne. Big Jake, that went up this week, had her in it. So there's a lot of synergy between Maureen O'Hara and John Wayne. And then every single movie I'm going to show you from here on out is a movie that I reviewed over the course of this month. Some of them I acquired and bought before I reviewed them because I couldn't find them on streaming services. And then a couple of them I bought because I had already reviewed them by the time that I made this purchase, and I definitely wanted them in my collection. Such like Rio Bravo, which I did when I did movies that star musicians because of Dean Martin and Ricky Nelson alongside the Duke John Wayne. You guys may remember me doing that back in April. If you missed that review, then we'll go ahead and we'll link it up here. But Rio Bravo was a solid one that I really wanted to add to my collection because I enjoyed it. Being a Dean Martin fan, having watched The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet in syndication when I was younger, definitely wanted to add that. I got The Comancheros, which was not available on streaming. So I definitely needed to add that to my collection so that I could review it. Again, you figure $1 for these movies, all I had to pay for was the shipping on this box. If you missed my review of The Comancheros, we'll link that up here. The next one that I got was John Wayne and Robert Mitchum in El Dorado, which is the one that had a very young James Caan in it. Really enjoyed that one, more than I thought I would. So I'm happy to add this to my collection, especially since I am a fan of James Caan. If you missed my review of El Dorado, we'll link it up here. Next up is the one that I just talked about this past Friday, The Cowboys. You guys probably remember me just raving about this film and the father-son relationship that developed between John Wayne's character and the boys that drove the cattle with him. Solid movie. I'm glad to have this one as part of my collection. If you missed my review of The Cowboys, bam, it's right there. Check it out. Granted, it was just this past Friday, but hey, maybe you're watching this and you didn't see the reviews. Next one is the film Chisholm, which I reviewed. And this one had to do with the story of William H. Bonney, Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett, the Tunstall, McSween, Murphy, Dolan, all that stuff from the Lincoln County Wars, which I know about from having seen Young Guns and Young Guns 2. This was a different side to that because it was all about the landowners more than it was focused on Billy and Garrett, etc. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed this one, so I'm glad that I picked this up to add to my collection. If you missed my review of Chisholm, we'll link it up here. And then the last one that I got from Whatnot, and I'm going to try to link the review, but I think I'm only allowed 5 links over the course of a video. So if it doesn't show up, you may just have to go to the channel and look it up. But the last one I got from Whatnot is Stagecoach. And this was significant because it was his very first starring role, or excuse me, it was his breakout role. His first starring one was The Big Trail. That was the first movie we did this month. Stagecoach was the second one we did, and it was his big breakout role. But again, it was good. I enjoyed it enough that I'm glad I went ahead and picked this up for as cheap as it was, added to the collection, and we're going to go ahead and give this a shot. Again, if the link doesn't pop up, you'll know why. But if you missed my link for Stagecoach, if you missed my review, here's the link for it up here. And just one more time, if the link isn't popping up here, then it's because I already exceeded my limit with the other ones. But that is everything that I got from Whatnot. But if you think that's all that we've got in store for you today, you've got another thing coming. Because we hit you with so much Dollar Tree stuff over the last month plus, we're going to go ahead and do just a little bit more here on this episode. The next batch of stuff I'm going to show you is my most latest acquisition from Hamilton Book. Now, you guys have probably heard me discuss Hamilton Book in the past. It is a website that you can go to, and they sell very, very cheap priced movies and stuff. I mean, they have stuff on their site for as low as $1.95. Now, none of this stuff was that cheap, but it was fairly cheap. Got my receipt here. The most expensive thing that I bought was $7.95. And that was this Silver Screen Icons John Wayne set. And again, it has Chisholm on it, which I just showed you I already got. It has The Train Robbers, which I'm going to be reviewing on Monday. Couldn't find it anywhere on streaming, so I needed a copy of it. It has Cahill, United States Marshal, and McHugh. So I'm not sure what I'll do now that I have 2 copies of Chisholm. Didn't realize that was on here when I ordered it. Maybe I'll keep it because it's a standalone with its own cover art. Maybe I'll get rid of it and just hold on to this. Maybe I'll wait and see if I end up picking up a Chisholm Blu-ray and then put the copy I have in the Blu-ray, like I showed you that I do sometimes with my DVDs and Blu-rays. But regardless, I needed this set for The Train Robbers. John Wayne and Anne Margaret going to be coming together for that. Again, we'll get into that in a little bit because that's going to be Monday's review. The next thing I got was, and this is all going to be kind of lumped together, but I got the complete 50s Gumby collection. I grew up on Gumby in reruns back in the 80s. You open it up, it comes with a Gumby toy. Every episode that was made in the 50s. I've also got volume 2 of the complete 60s Gumby. Open it up, it comes with a couple of blockhead figures. I already had volume 1 of the 60s, so this gives me the complete 60s collection. And I got the complete 80s collection, volume 1. All I need now is volume 2 of the 80s, and I will have the entire collection of Gumby. I also have the Gumby movie that came in a tin shaped like Gumby's head. Kind of like a steelbook, but not quite. But yeah, like I said, I grew up on Gumby in both reruns from the old 60s and 50s and then the 80s redo. So throwing all of these things into my collection now, all I got to do is pick up volume 2 of the 80s, and I've got everything Gumby. So that is what I've got for this week on the War Zone. What did you think of my haul today? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for. Spoiler free, of course, in the comments below. Have you seen my John Wayne reviews for all the movies that I got today? Have you seen Cleopatra? Have you seen Caveman? Do you enjoy the old Gumby shows? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you guys tune in at the top of the hour immediately following this broadcast. Right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, as we present to you our final watch along for the weekend, AEW Double or Nothing, live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, will be yet another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, and we're about to begin our final reviews of John Wayne movies for the month. And we're going to kick off the week strong, as I mentioned when I show you that silver screen DVD, with The Train Robbers, starring John Wayne, Anne Margaret, Rod Taylor, Ben Johnson, Christopher George, Bobby Vinton, Jerry Gatlin, and Ricardo Montalban. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, on the Jeff Meacham Network, across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, AEW Double or Nothing watch along coverage coming up at the top of the hour, The Train Robbers tomorrow, and then 2 more John Wayne reviews after that to wrap up the month of May. You don't want to miss out on any of it. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, or anytime we go live, as is the case with Stat Boy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE watch-along coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of John Wayne, fans of Elizabeth Taylor, fans of Ringo Starr, fans of thrift store videos, treasure hunt videos, unboxing videos, fans of Gumby, anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video, share it with them. It's the only way we're going to keep our visibility up now that we are, in fact, a monetized channel right here on the platform. Thank you once again to everyone who joined me and tuned in today. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. And I will see you guys next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.